Hello, everybody. My name is Eric D. Johnson, also known as BrightShine, right here in the city of Memphis, in the county, Sheriff, State of Tennessee. Today's date is early Monday morning, October the 16th, 2023. The time is 1:45 a.m. First, I'm going to say thank you to my family, my support for continuing current support, continue to keep myself employed in Memphis, tri-state area, continue to further my education, more work hours online, continue to pursue my social research, be administrator, contract market, in the present time, to bring going school in the very near future. I'm going to go back to more work hours online, continue to pursue my social research, be administrator, contract market. Now, what I'm going to do right now, I'm going to start my Facebook Live. Hello, everybody. My name is Eric D. Johnson, also known as BrightShine, right here in the city of Memphis, in the county, Sheriff, State of Tennessee. Today's date is early Monday morning, October the 16th, 2023. The time is 1:46 a.m. First, I'm going to say thank you to my fans, my support for you. Continue encourage and support. I'll continue to keep myself employed in Memphis, tri-state area, continue to further my education, more work hours online, continue to pursue my social research and be administrative, contract market. The present time to bring going school in the very near future. I'm going to go back to more work hours online, continue to pursue my social degree study, be administrative, contract and market. Now, what you see in front of you is anti-gang, anti-Gnostic, anti-hazing. Also, adversity heresy, translated meaning against heresy. Saint Irenaeus, the Bishop of Lyon, together with Saint Ignatius, the Bishop of Antioch, they wrote a 5-volume book titled Adversity Heresy Against Heresy, refuted Gnosticism, proving that Gnosticism was a heresy. Also, Saint Athanasius, the Bishop of Alexandria, in the year 367 AD, in his 39th festival, Easter letter, banned all non-Christian writing. Saint Athanasius, Bishop of Alexandria, together with all the other bishops in the Catholic Church, and went around and collected all that Gnostic theologian writing, and they collected it and they destroyed it. And a person or person took some copies of that Gnostic theologian writing, wrapped it in some papyrus paper, put it in a jar, and buried it in the Nagomite of Egypt. In 1945, the little farm boy was outside playing, and he found that jar that the leftover Gnostic theologian writing was put in, that it was buried. And he gave what he found to his father, who was a farmer. And eventually the scholars at these colleges and universities around the world, the people in academia, they found out about it. And they, ever since then, they have been using and misusing the Nagomite library to be self-destructive and destructive. They trying to victimize innocent men, women, and children. They trying to either hurt or kill the dogs and the cats, the puppies and the kittens. They trying to destroy nature, wildlife, and the environment. All this poaching that you see around the world, all the endangered species. That's the reason why. The North and South Pole is in danger. Even outer space is in danger. Talking about the material world is evil. Talking about some demiurge is a clumsy god. They be lying. Plato in his book, Timaeus or Timaeus, the demiurge was a good god who desired a world of good. They be lying. Nobody should be sitting around waiting on no divine spark to be delivered from his earthly vessel. All you doing is lying. There was a PhD in all these colleges and universities in the Department of Theology and Religious Studies. Been telling you about this rejected knowledge. Also, Saint Epiphanius of Salome, the Bishop of Cyprus, Wrote a 3-volume book titled Greek, Panarian Latin, translated meaning bread basket. The scholars at the college and university around the world have said that St. Epiphanes of Salome, Bishop of Cyprus' 3-volume book is also adverse heresies against heresies. Esoteric and exoteric. Esoteric and exoteric. Esoteric, and break it down to syllables. S-O-ter-ic. Esoteric, break it down to syllables. S-O-ter-ic. Exoteric. Break it down to syllables. X-O-ter-ic. Exoteric. Break it down to syllables. X-O-ter-ic. Rejecting knowledge. Rejecting knowledge. Rejecting knowledge. Rejecting knowledge. The Almighty Vice Lord, Four Corner Hustler. The Almighty Black Prince Stone. The Almighty Black Disciple, Poppy. The Almighty Mickey Cole, Cracker. The Almighty Bluefin, Black Disciple, the Black Disciple. The Lord Stone Disciple, 7-Eleven, G Killer. Gangster Disciple Killer, GDK. Glazed Donut Killer. The Almighty Vice Lord Nation. What you teach and how you teach. What you teach and how you teach. The history of the city of Chicago is important. like I've been constantly, over and over again. The sorority and the fraternity. Been lying. Going around lying. The sohos and the fret bitch. Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. Like I stated before, the Flat Hat Club, the Sohos and the frat bitches, the fraternities and the sororities, that's where they come from, in America. Thomas Jefferson and a few others, they started all this stuff here in the United States of America. But we know, historically, this so-called fraternity stuff, it goes all the way back to Europe. But here in the United States of America, the basis of what we call the Greek letter, fraternities really started from the Flat Hat Club society. And Thomas Jefferson was one of the people who was a member of the Flat Hat Club at this college, William and Mary College in Virginia. And then came behind it, some imitators tried to imitate the Flat Hat Club. The Please Don't Ask Society. And then came behind it one of the students at William and Mary who was denied admission to the Please Don't Ask Society started the first Greek letter fraternity, Phi Beta Kappa Society, at William and Mary College. So that's the history of the sorority and the fraternity. They go around and try to make it sound like they're supposed to be some significant organization at the colleges and universities. But all it is just some socializing and really being involved in criminal activity on the campus as well as off the campus. You got to do all this stuff just to get initiated into the sorority and fraternity. A lot of it be criminal. And then all this stuff about Western mystery tradition, Western esotericism, then exotericism, and all this Rosicrucianism, Freemasonry, Hermetism, Gnosticism, the occult, then all this spiritualism, theosophy and anthroposophy, Neoplatonism, all this is rejected knowledge. See, the Theology and Religious Studies Department at the colleges and universities around the world have rejected it. Now, all these other departments like the IT department, the medical department, the law department, the business department, the humanities, liberal arts department, the arts department, the music department, all them other departments, the behavior science, social science department, all them other departments on the college campus around the world, these colleges and universities around the world. It just go around lying. And so, the history of the city of Chicago, the Almighty Vice Lord Nation, there's a lot of people affiliated, associated with the Almighty Vice Lord Nation, including me. And so don't never let the sorority and the fraternity make a fool at you by trying to go around trying to use the Nagamite Library, talking about some Gnosticism, and then going around trying to use Western mystical tradition, Western esotericism, or anything else that they make up. Because all they doing is lying. They try to use violence as a method of persuasion. Now, the reason why I wanted to make my video today, I wasn't able to make my video yesterday. I was off work yesterday, but I wasn't able to make my video. Well, not Sunday, but because it's early Monday morning. But I mean Saturday. I was off, but from work and everything. But I wasn't able to make my video. So what I said I was gonna do, I'm still gonna do my video. But I'm not gonna be one man intend to be long. And so We have a United Nations. All over the world, people, human beings. Every human being on this planet, on this earth, is represented at the United Nations. And this whole thing with terrorism. And we live in today where we have video and audio, and people, people all over the world, we able to see each other. We able to hear each other, and we able to see each other because of audio and video. And so the United Nations is working 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Peace all over the world for every human being. Just like the United Nations Charter represents every human being on this planet, on this earth. No human being is being ignored. No human being is being neglected. No human being is being disregarded or being disrespected at the United Nations. Every human being, all human beings, is somebody at the United Nations. All human beings matter at the United Nations. All human beings matter at the United Nations. It's a very disappointing thing that the United Nations is trying to work out, is trying to negotiate with warring parties all over the world. You can look at North Korea and South Korea. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, the United Nations is trying to negotiate with North Korea and South Korea. The United Nations is 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, is trying to negotiate. Just like in Myanmar, trying to negotiate. Now then, a war broke out between Armenia and Azerbaijan. The United Nations trying to negotiate, trying to work out peace. China and Taiwan, the United Nations is trying to negotiate for peace. All over the planet, all over the earth. Sudan, South Sudan, Libya, Syria, Somalia, the war between Eritrea and Ethiopia. The United Nations is trying to negotiate for peace. The Congo, all over the earth. The United Nations trying to negotiate for peace. Yemen. In Haiti. Venezuela. You name any place on this earth that there's conflict, that there's war, that there's hostility. The United Nations, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, is trying to negotiate for peace for all human beings. When it comes to Israel and Palestine, the United Nations, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, trying to negotiate for peace between Israel and Palestine. When you see Lebanon, the same thing. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, the United Nations trying to negotiate for peace. They had already negotiated and had agreed, the Israelis and the Palestinians, for a two-state existence. The Palestinians had negotiated and had agreed to live in peace with Israel. Israel had negotiated with Palestine to live in peace with Palestine. They showing videos on the news saying that this terrorist organization, Hamas, they had been training before this incident, before this attack. They had been training to attack the people of Israel. They actually was training to kill men, women, and children. They showed the video on the news that Hamas had been training to kill innocent men, women, and children. It's premeditation. That's a crime. To conspire against a person or persons. At the International Criminal Court, crimes against humanity. A terrorist group, Hezbollah. They're trying to investigate. Did the Iranians have something to do with it, directly or indirectly? They showing videos on the news that they had been conspiring. They had been training to kill innocent men, women, and children in Israel before they carried it out. They had been trained to kill men, women, and children. This Hamas, they had planned it. And when you plan something like this, when you think about the civilians in Palestine, this is what a plan is. When you say you were planning to kill men, women, and children, what you didn't plan, excuse me, is not for the Palestinians to be harmed, because you didn't care. You didn't care about the Palestinians being harmed. That was the plan. See, when you plan to kill men, women, and children in Israel, You already expected the Israelis to retaliate. Excuse me. You had already planned. See, this is what you got to remember. Hamas, they had made a video. They said they had been training, they had planned, they had conspired against innocent men, women, and children in Israel. They planned. But in the plan to kill innocent men, women, and children in Israel, this is what Hamas already knew. That when they did that, the Israelis were going to retaliate. So when you think about the innocent civilians in Gaza, this is what Hamas had already planned. That when the Israelis retaliated, that's what Hamas wanted the Israelis to do. That was part of the plan. See, it wasn't anything that they were doing to secure the Palestinians from being harmed by the Israelis after they carried out this senseless murdering of men, women, and children. This was part of Hamas's plan. That when they killed innocent men, women, and children in Israel, the Israelis were going to retaliate. They expected the Israelis to respond militarily, as well as the United States. So they took some hostages. They took hostages. And so now they're going to attempt to use the hostages as bargaining. It ain't nothing to talk about. But the part of the plan when it comes to the civilians in Gaza, as well as in the West Bank or any other civilian, because they had already kidnapped the Israelis as well as Americans. Some were killed. Others being held hostage. Or they might be dead and just don't want to tell you where the body's at. Because some, as of has been reported today, the Israeli Defense Force have killed some of the Hamas commanders. Some of the ground forces, not all, some have been moving in to Gaza, getting into fights with Hamas, and some of the Hamas commanders have been killed. As of right now, there's an anticipated Israeli ground force moving in to Gaza to attack, and they trying to make sure that the civilians, Palestinian civilians who live in Gaza, don't get hurt or don't be harmed, because they are not the intended target. The Israelis are trying to eliminate Hamas. Hamas, in their planning, they knew that the Israelis were going to retaliate. They were going to respond militarily. So in their planning, Hamas, they were not concerned. They didn't care about the Palestinian civilians. All they were concerned about, all that Hamas cared about, and was concerned about, was killing innocent men, women, and children in Israel. That's all they wanted to do. They didn't give a damn about the Palestinian civilians. They make no provisions for the Palestinian civilians not to be harmed or hurt. They didn't care. They were not concerned about the Palestinian civilians. So when I hear people talking, this is what my response is. Hamas didn't care. Hamas wasn't concerned about the Palestinian civilians. They didn't make no provisions for the Palestinian civilians when they carried out this cowardly act that they had planned to kill innocent men, women, and children in Israel. When I seen on the news the Israeli people seeing the prime minister, the Israeli prime minister, the Israeli president, I was encouraged. Didn't like what Hamas did. I don't think nobody that's a sense, anybody with any sense would not like what they're hearing and seeing in the news about what Hamas did. No human being on this earth can condone what Hamas did. No human being on this earth can condone what Hamas did. It's a crime against humanity. In the United Nations Charter, what you did is a crime against humanity. Nobody on this earth can condone it. Every nation on this earth that signed the charter at the United Nations is going to tell you that they don't condone what Hamas did. You can't, because you signed the same charter. Every nation on this earth that's a member of the United Nations, they know what the charter of the United Nations reads. You can't condone what Hamas did. It's a crime against international law. It's being said in the news that the Israelis been carrying out airstrikes. Preparing, they've already said we at war with Hamas. And based on international law, when it comes to war, there are laws about war. And the Israelis said we at war with Hamas. And as we say we at war with Hamas, we gonna abide by the laws of war. So when it comes to the Palestinian civilians, the Israelis said you got a certain amount of time to get out of Gaza. Get out of Gaza. They didn't do nothing wrong. Hamas trying to blend in with the civilian population in Gaza, as well as on the West Bank or anywhere else. They trying to blend in. It's been reported on the news that the Israeli Defense Force, they found a lot of the weapons that Hamas had been stashing. They've been hiding. Hamas is being told that the Israeli Defense Force is preparing a ground invasion. And it's going to be a war between the Israelis and so, because of Hamas planning to carry out this cowardly crime against humanity, and they actually did it, and they kidnapped a lot of people. Some of the hostages have been killed. Some of the Americans being held hostage. Possibly some other foreign who would just happen to be in Israel at that time. They could have possibly either got killed or being held hostage or just missing. People just running out of fear. And in the chaos, lost. Could be dead and just body haven't been discovered. And I mean, it's a sad thing to see the hostage families or even the victims' family heartbroken. My heart goes out to the families, to all the families. It's wrong what Hamas did. It's wrong. Our President of the United States of America, President Biden, in his statements, America is standing firm 100% with Israel. And I'm glad. The Democrats and Republicans, in a joint statement, they condemn what Hamas did. I'm glad. The Secretary of Defense went over to Israel, stood side by side with the Prime Minister of Israel. Made me feel proud to be an American. Our Secretary of State has had meetings with the Prime Minister of Israel as well as the President of Israel, reassuring the Israeli people that the United States support Israel 100%. As well as the Palestinians government, the legitimate government, not Hamas, a terrorist group, but the legitimate government in Palestine, the Palestinian government. The Egyptian government, the Jordanian government, the Lebanese government. What Hamas did, other people didn't have anything to do with. There's still people trying to get evidence. Did Iran have something to do with it, directly or indirectly? The people on the Saudi Arabian Peninsula, Saudi Arabian government, other governments in the region, they know that the United States has sent a carrier group, 2 carrier groups in the area to support Israel. That's a lot of military might. It's a lot of military might. The U.S. military carrier group. That's a lot. As well as other armed forces personnel. Army, Air Force. The Navy and the Marines are already there. The Army and the Air Force, they ain't too far. They ain't too far. Our government said we're not going to directly or indirectly get involved, but we there to support Israel. The thing that just gets me is just this planning. How is it that you can sit there and plan to kill men, women, and children? And then you train to kill men, women, and children. You plan it and then you train for that. That's a crime against humanity. Man, it ain't no such thing as no ideology, no religion that say you can plan and train and then carry out this murderous, cowardly act against innocent men, women, and children. It's wrong. It's wrong. And I'm glad to see the Israeli government stand. I'm glad to see the Israeli government stand for justice. To stand for justice. And it made me proud that all this conversation about the civilians, where the Palestinian civilians are not being overlooked by the Israeli government, like Hamas did. All this careful consideration of the Palestinian civilians. The United States government is not overlooking the Palestinian civilians like Hamas did. Because Hamas didn't give a damn about the Palestinian civilians. But the Israeli government gives a damn about the Palestinian civilians. The United States government gives a damn about the Palestinian civilians. Hamas didn't. But they planned. And they trained. But as you can see, in their plan and in their training, when the people was at that festival, the Israelis was at that festival, what was the Hamas people? Was they concerned about the Palestinian civilians? No. No, they ain't thought nothing about the Palestinian civilians. So why the hell Hamas running their damn mouth now talking about the damn Palestinian civilians? They go over everybody else. Hell, Hamas didn't give a damn about the Palestinian civilians in Gaza while they was killing innocent men, women, and children. So why the hell you running your damn mouth now? But I mean, you know, excuse me. You know, it's being reported on the news, so, you know, I had to I want to say what's on my heart, you know. Because when I'm sitting there hearing, and I'm hearing somebody talking about you've been planning, and then you've been training, and then after you done carried out this cowardly act, I'm like, man, look. When I'm sitting there looking at this video, I'm seeing these stupid fools running around kidnapping people. What the hell was you talking about? Some civilian Palestinian civilians. They weren't worried about no Palestinian civilians when they were kidnapping. I'm seeing people being snatched out of cars. But now all of a sudden, now you want to talk about the Palestinian civilians. That's what I have a problem with. Hamas running their damn mouth. Then I'm hearing other people running their damn mouth. What you running your mouth for? Talking about you playing something and then you train. You weren't concerned about the Palestinian civilians. That's just the truth. That's the honest truth. You weren't concerned about the Palestinian civilians. But look what you're hearing. But you see who concerned about the Palestinian civilians? The Israelis. They trying to make damn sure that the Palestinian civilians are not hurt or not harmed. The United States government is concerned and care about the Palestinian civilians. Trying to be careful that they don't be hurt or be harmed. I stand 100%. I support the United States of America. I'm an honorably discharged veteran of the United States Marine Corps. And I support my government in their support of Israel. 100%. I was just so upset. I felt in my heart I wanted to fight side by side with the Israelis. I wanted to help them fight against Hamas. That's how strong I feel. I support the United States of America 100%. And I want to stand with the Israeli Defense Force, the Israeli government, and fight against Hamas and fight against terrorism. Stand 100%. What time is it? Because it's not right. My heart goes out to the families. I'm very thankful that we live in a day and time where we have audio and video. I'm so heartbroken to see men, women, and children losing their family, losing their loved ones for no reason. No reason at all. Ain't no reason for this. None whatsoever. No reason. We have a United Nations. We have a United Nations for every human being on this planet. On this earth, there's a United Nations. And the United Nations listen to every human being on this earth, on this planet. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. The United Nations listen. See, when things like this happen, when you think the United Nations don't listen, yes, they do. The United Nations be listening to every human being on this earth, on this planet. It's very sad. I seen a man just completely heartbroken. His only child, his daughter, kidnapped. Him and his wife on television, pleading for the safe return of his only child, his daughter. And so many. I seen a young lady, her 85-year-old grandmother, kidnapped by Hamas. So many, I can just say, and I really tell you the truth, I really want, when I see the video, I'm thankful. I'm thankful that I had the opportunity to see and to listen to the victims and their families. Because it make me want to join in the fight. It make me want to put my boots on, make me want to join in. I want to fight side by side with the Israeli Defense Force against Hamas and against terrorism. My heart goes out to the families, to the victims. And when I think about the Palestinian people suffering, being oppressed by Hamas. Because that's all you're doing. Trying to put yourself over other people through violence. See, the only thing that is these people, they don't tell the truth. See, that's what that Nagamon library does when it comes to religion. See, these people be talking about they are Muslim, they are Jew, and they are Christian. You see people all over the world. This so-called Nagamon library is a problem. People be lying. And when I see it, I just call it like I see it. Just tell the truth here. I mean, you know, I'm sitting there looking at them. A bunch of stupid people thinking that they smart. Talking about some Gnosticism. But like I said, the Palestinian people are suffering. They're being oppressed by some more Palestinian people called Hamas. And they use violence. It's sad. It's sad. It's very sad. Because as a human being, all human beings on this planet, when you see what's been done, and these so-called Muslims, see, they'll try to go around like ISIS did and thought they can recruit. They thought they could recruit. It was right for the United States government to fight against ISIS and any other terrorist group because they tried to recruit. And that's all Hamas was trying to do, was just trying to recruit. They weren't trying to solve anything. They just tried to recruit and get a lot of people to join. Just go kill some Jews and we'll see how many people join. Well, the Israeli force did what you expect them to. They attacked. And a lot of the Hamas commanders are dying in the war. It's being reported on the news by the Israeli Defense Force that they didn't kill some, not all, some of the Hamas commanders. I'm proud of them. I'm proud of the Israeli Defense Force. I'm proud. proud. I really am. But it's wrong. It's wrong with Hamas, then all this Hezbollah and the Iranians. It's wrong. And again, I'm just, as an American, I'm proud. I'm proud as an American that our government is standing with Israel 100% and support Israel 100%. I'm proud to say I'm American. I really am. I'm proud to say I am an American. I'm proud to say I'm a human being because of the Israeli government. I'm proud to say that I'm a human being. I know that the United Nations, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, is trying to work for peace all over the world, all over this earth, all over this planet. And there is hope. There is hope. There is hope. Don't have to have this feeling of despair. There's hope. What time is it? Now I was just looking at the clock. Just a few more minutes, and it'll be then I'm gonna end my video about 6 or 7 minutes. But I still feel, like I said, I feel so hopeful as a human being. I really do. When I heard about the Israeli Defense Force, they're gonna invade, they're gonna attack Hamas. I feel proud, and I know that there's hope. And when I know that the United States government got a carrier group in the Mediterranean, the Red Sea, supporting Israel, I know as an American, as a human being, there's hope for peace, for security. I know that there's hope. I'm praying each and every day for the families whose family members been kidnapped. I pray for the victims who've been killed. I pray that there are people who are being held hostage, that they can be released and can go back home and to be in return to their families. Because it's senseless. There's no reason at all for any human being to be held hostage. No reason at all. No reason at all. I'm praying each and every day for the hostages. I'm praying each and every day for the Israeli Defense Force, because I know they're trying to fight this enemy against these cowards. They have families. Unfortunately, sometimes when you're fighting a war, you either get injured or you could possibly killed. I pray for them and their families. All these Palestinian civilians, they're in my prayers. I'm praying for the civilians. A lot of Palestinians have been killed. It's been reported over 1,000. Over 1,000 Palestinian civilians have been killed. But Hamas, they planned and they trained. They didn't give a damn about the Palestinian civilians. Just look at what they did. See, when you plan something, think about it. Think about what a plan is. If I'm planning and you say you're concerned about your people or whatever, don't you think you would have considered that in your plan? Anybody with common sense will say the same thing I'm saying. That since you said you got a plan, don't you think I'm supposed to be protected. If I'm gonna go kill, if you say the Israelis are the enemy, and you fighting against them, and you don't like Israel, okay, okay, in your plan, you gonna kill men, women, and children. But see, when you said that, look at what you did. You ain't have no plan for the Palestinian civilians in Gaza. Because you ain't give a damn about the Palestinians in Gaza or in the West Bank or anywhere. You ain't give a damn about people in Lebanon or Jordan or anywhere else. See, this is what the plan was. At the very beginning, this is what you wanted to do. You wanted to kill some Israelis. And you did that. That was the plan was. To kill some Israelis. That's what they did. But in the plan, they knew that if they did this, what was going to happen? The Israelis were going to respond. If you do something like that, you know damn well Israel going to respond. And how they going to respond? Militarily. They're going to attack. See, this is what the plan is. So you can't tell nobody that you concerned about the Palestinian civilians. Because you're not. Because you already knew in your plan that when you attack Israel, you knew that Israel was going to attack back. See, we all know this. People not fools, man. They know this. So don't try to play that game with nobody. Because all you is just a bunch of cowards. That's all you are, a bunch of damn cowards. But like I said, I want to say this again. I stand 100%. I support the United States government 100%. Fight against terrorism 100%. I'm so proud to say that I'm an American. I'm so proud that the United States government is standing 100% with Israel. 100%. I'm proud to say I am an American. I'm proud to be a human being knowing that there's hope for peace and for security. I see it. I'm going to get ready to end today's video. Again, my name is Eric D. Johnson. Also known as BrightShine. I live right here in the city of Memphis in the state of Tennessee. Thank all my fans, my support for your continued courage support. And continue to pray. Continue to pray for the victims of this senseless crime against humanity in Israel. Continue to pray for all the victims. Pray for the Palestinian civilians. Pray for all our elected officials here in the United States of America. Pray for the people in Israel. Pray for all people. Pray for every human being. For peace and security. You take care of yourself, and I wish each and every one of you the very best.